Happy Thursday, cuz. How was your day?
It was actually pretty smooth. I want to hear about yours. You said you had a
Oh,
day. Yeah.
I was having a day. It was been one of those days when everything was getting on my last nerves, right?
Oh, good. That's good.
And I had to reassess that thing because it's that time of year where I overanalyze everything and everything just stresses me out.
Okay.
And I realized what season it is. And it's that season of depression for me. Like,
Mhm.
when I look back over my life, I'm about to be 55 in November, right? And this is the period where the enemy attacks my mind. And I start reminiscing on all the things I would have, should have, could have done and didn't do yet.
Mhm.
And then it takes me in a deep place, in a dark place, coupled with the fact that my husband's sick. So it took me there early, and
Mhm.
I had to step back and apply the education that I have to
Mhm.
my real life. Girl,
What does that look like? Tell me what that means.
oh, that's hard. It's hard.
What was the first step? What did you start doing or thinking?
At first, I had to realize I had to accept where I'm in, right? In this season of my life.
Mhm.
And then communicate those doubts, anxieties, and fears to those around me so that I can have a support system and working through my issues.
Mhm.
And I believe I shared with you before that um this is my guy. Like, I know God created him just for me.
Oh,
And when he got sick, I felt like, oh my God, my forever is coming to an end. So I didn't want to live. I didn't want to move past that because I can't imagine my life without him.
how long ago was the diagnosis?
He was diagnosed in August.
Okay.
But he's been struggling for a while, and we just didn't know what it was. And I kept thinking it was Alzheimer's. I'm like, well, we can get through Alzheimer's, but having a terminal diagnosis, I just wasn't ready to accept it. And so it took me into that stage of the season of my life, coupled with, me turning 55 and still having goals that I have not quite finished. All that was just piling on top of each other.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's been a minute, and I realized that. And then I thank God I got good friends like yourself and a couple of other therapists, and my cousin, my friend Michelle, who's also in the ministry with me as far as grief counseling go. And she was like, since you already know what to do, it's just applying my knowledge to my personal life, and that's the hard part.
Right, especially because a lot of times you need a sounding board first.
Right.
Like, yeah, I was telling my daughter that she was like, "Mom, why don't you talk to a therapist?" And I said, because not that I'm not gonna say I don't need a therapist, but I think what I told her is I said, but in these moments when I feel like this, I need somebody that's close to me, just
Right.
to hear my sounding board. Once I can hear what's in me, then I know what to apply to get me out of it.
Exactly, exactly. That's why I love talking to you. I love talking, and my friend Denise Wilson, or Harris now, like it's almost like she can feel me when I'm going through, when I'm in a dark place. My phone rings, and I'm like, sis, oh my God, do you got telepathy or something? Do you? What's
Right.
going on? She literally knows that I need to call my sis.
So did that start like early this morning? Like what
Um, it started a couple of days ago. Yesterday it was real bad. Yesterday I was horrible, and I
when
was
you
I was
ain't
so
called
mean.
me? You should have.
Because when I get like that, I get so mean. And
Because that's frustration and fear and
yeah,
all this stuff piled up because you don't know what's next. You don't want to fix everything.
right.
So it's like everybody get away from me so I can figure this out.
So I can figure it out. And I tried to go, like, I even like, and then, because I do my prayer at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And that's where I can hear God. Like, so I'm on my back porch this morning. And my dogs was trying to come outside with me. So I let all three of them out. One of these jokers go inside to escape the yard and wouldn't come back in when I was looking for him. So I'm like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. The sun ain't even up yet. And you not even in the yard. Bro, you gonna stay out here. So I left him out there. And normally I would walk the streets until I find him. But I was such in the place of like, I need to hear God. And now you distracted because you want to leave the yard. Stay gone.
Mhm. Good for you. That was a big deal for you to surrender control in that situation.
Yes, yes. Because normally I literally be like, my baby's missing, and I start stressing out, wake the whole house up. And I was like, you know what? He know where the door is. He come back when he want to.
So good. That is so good. Your cup must be full for you
Yeah,
to surrender. Because I'm thinking about what would make me finally just be like, you know what, I ain't doing it. Thank God that you weren't able to do it. So for the first time, you had to surrender right in that moment.
Yeah, and that's hard. It's hard, especially when you somebody like myself who always fixing stuff, and then who has that perfectionist spirit that
Mm-hmm.
I'm still dealing with. Like everything got to be duh 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 duh.
Mm-hmm.
So I struggle with that a lot. Trying to make sure that all is well in my whole camp and fixing things for a lot of people. And then yesterday was my daughter's birthday. I
Oh,
didn't. Yep, my oldest baby. She turned 33 yesterday. So I didn't even do a lot of celebration with her. So because I'm so engulfed in my own pain, and normally when I don't celebrate her, that takes me in a deep place because now I feel like I missed the opportunity to give her special attention.
so I mean, when you said when you don't celebrate her, what would you mean when you didn't plan something to do on
I
her day?
didn't do nothing big or nothing like that. I mean, it's her 33rd
At
birthday.
33, does she want something big?
She don't like to celebrate at all. She just like, as long as I say happy birthday and something like that, give her a card, take her something, she's good with that. She doesn't like a lot of hoopah and all that, but I do. So I was like, oh shoot. So
So why
um
you be throwing your stuff on everybody else?
I sure do. I sure do. And so yesterday
I'm
my
saying
granddaughter,
that
she
too.
we did like a whole big happy birthday sign in the yard and wrote her personal notes and stuff. And my daughter was
It's
happy with it.
a lot.
Yeah, my daughter was happy with it, but I thought, oh my God, I should have did more.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
What is that about?
yeah, and I don't know
Hey,
what that.
Lisa, why is it hard for us to? Lisa wants to know why is it hard for us to celebrate us?
Yeah, Lisa, I know, right? I'll be trying, Lisa. I'll be trying.
You know what? I went off of Facebook Live. Let me try to connect that again. I left it right. Let me go connect again because so first you said I don't want you to stop talking. I want you to continue. But first you said that you had to apply what you know. So
Mhm.
first was to let everybody else know what was going on with you. What was the next thing?
The not and then just be committed to the process, like committed to doing something to take me out of that moment of frustration, right? So I have to commit to just, all right, I don't want to do this right now, but you're going to do it anyway. So basically kicking my own self in the butt saying,
Good. Good.
move forward. You in this ugly place right now in your mind, but you got to move forward because ain't nobody going to do this but you, and you and your own little pity party. Disinvite yourself and keep moving.
That's right.
you know so that's hard, and again, I know the practical steps, and I can teach this to the kids. I can teach this to anybody who's I'm mentoring. But baby, listening to Debbie listening to Debbie, that's a battle.
You know what this now I have to say, I'm up here learning this thing. Now I see Lisa's on Facebook, but it came through on the restream. I don't know how this all this stuff go. This is interesting.
I see Lisa. Hi, Lisa. And you're right. Like Lisa, how do you celebrate yourself? Is it the moments like this where you trying to celebrate yourself, right? And
Girl,
you
wait, wait.
saying
Let
all
me
that.
tell you Lisa's story first. Look, why you asked that question.
Moments like this. Oh, here I am. I'm to myself.
Um,
I'm trying to make myself go live.
okay, just take your time.
Because I think I might have myself on private, so my people are not seeing me because I got it on private setting. But yeah, it's a mess. Like
I
trying to
was gonna
just
tell you about Lisa. Lisa, you asked her how does she celebrate herself. She don't know how.
you know how. Oh, Lisa.
Mhm. Lisa just now for the first time celebrated her birthday this year because Lisa, how many years ago it was? You lost your son. Her son called her, said happy birthday, and then hours later he was murdered.
Oh no. See, I can see that. I can see that being me, Lisa. I'm right there with you. I would have been the same way.
Yep. Who wouldn't have been like? I don't
Yep.
even see the birthday coming. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
I wouldn't even want it. I know. Yeah, and I had that experience with the whole 2015. 2015 was the worst year I've ever experienced in my life. I literally had 15 people in my circle, like my immediate circle, mentors, family members, die within 3 weeks of each other.
That makes no sense.
Makes no sense, including like it started in like March, where my husband's grandmother passed away, and then my
Girl,
cousin, my little cousin.
look,
Or-
Give me too many visuals. I'm an empath. I be done took all that in. Hold on. Come back. Come back there.
It started there with my cousins. My husband's grandmother passed away, and then my cousin, my one of my favorite cousins, I call like my daughter. She passed away. She was like 33 years old, and at the same time, I was being celebrated for being the top salesperson in our agency. So I couldn't make the funeral because I had to go to be celebrated. I sold like $1 million for this company, so they was honoring me in Costa Rica, and I was so distraught because I couldn't attend her funeral. And then that September, my bonus dad passed away. 3 days later,
Hold on.
his
Hold on.
sister
Hold
his
on.
sister passed away, and then 3 days later after that,
Hold
his
on.
brother passed away.
Hold on, Dad. You can't give me all them visuals, baby. I can't handle all of them.
I know, right?
This I had on radio one year. This woman was talking about all the loss that she had encountered, and it kept going and kept going. Everybody was just shut down and depressed by the time she started naming all of them. So I
Mhm.
learned now, like, let's just keep it high level because I take it in so much of it, you know. But to turn around, how did you deal? Like, what was the thing that finally made you start thawing out because you became numb at some point?
I did. I came after my dad, my aunt, and my uncle. I just shut down completely, and I started getting so angry. And then I had to, like I said in the day, go back into my teachings and in my education, and I start just reading healing books and going back through my class notes and stuff like that to bring myself out of that the 5 stages of grief. You know,
What class was this that you?
oh, because I'm actually certified grief counselor.
Okay, I knew you were. Okay, good.
So I had to go through those stages of grief and loss to just bring myself out of it. And in the meantime, protect my mom, my siblings, my cousins, and help them through those stages of grief at the same time. And
So
then
hold on, when did you go get this? Like I'm getting a timeline now. When did you actually take this course, this class?
actually I was headhunted for this job back in 2013.
Wow,
I
right before you had all this loss. That's insane.
2013 I was headhunted because a family member, our community had suffered a great loss. Um, Two beloved families had a violent incident, and there was basically rickering between one community and another community, and it was just senseless violence in the neighborhood. So I was part of a team who organized a gun buyback program, and because of that, they honored me, and well, they didn't honor me; they just seeked me out because of the way I communicated with everybody on the down low. Like I basically didn't want to be seen, I didn't want to be known. They headhunted me and was like, "We need you to go out and talk to the community about preparing for grief and loss." So they gave me this job, and
They created it just
I
for you.
loved it. They again created it just for me to go out and talk about the community,
Mhm.
talk to the community and different churches and stuff, and especially of African American descent, just to tell them how to prepare for loss and how to move past, loss and violence and stuff. And it absolutely was the best job I've ever had in my life.
You miss it, huh?
Literally was the best job because you know what? It humbled me and it made me appreciate life while others were losing life, and I'm still living life, especially after being diagnosed and told I only had 2 years to live. So every day that
With
I'm
the
alive,
lupus, they said you had only 2 years to live,
they have. Yep.
and that was back in 2013 as well.
No, that was actually 27 years ago now.
What? My girl.
Yep.
Wow.
So, so I celebrate every birthday for me because I ain't supposed to be here according to
That's
doctors.
right. That's right. That's
You
right.
know,
That's so good. Lisa said you can't skip any of the steps of grief. You have to deal,
you got
feel,
to deal with it. Yep.
and accept the
You
pain.
got to deal with it. The anger, the busy bee, because that's the one too. And people don't realize that sometimes folks will go into that worker bee mood and then just start going at it. You know,
Because ain't nothing else to do, so I might as well work. I need to be productive, that kind of thing.
I got to get it done. Ain't nobody going to do it.
So the purpose for us bringing this up, I forget what we were speaking on, but we were like, man, the holiday is coming up.
Yeah, it's that
And,
season.
and that's the see, and it's interesting because, like, say for instance, all year long, after you done went through that last holiday in January, you kind of start resetting, then the sun comes out, and we kind of perk up a little bit or whatever. And then this psychology, this season just hit again.
Yep.
LaCheryl, hey honey bun. She said, don't say that you're not supposed to be here. Say that man decided you wasn't supposed to be here, but God had a different plan
I
for you.
know that's right,
You
Cheryl.
better preach, girl.
I know that's right. God has the final say. And I say all the time, who report do you believe? And I chose to accept the report of the Lord.
That's right. I can't see well, you have the dashboard. I can't see who's on there until they make a message. You guys let me know who's here. I want to know who's here. So with it being the holidays, it's so interesting. A couple weeks ago, a little less than a month, I remember this feeling coming over me, and it was because it started to get a little chilly here in Georgia, and this familiar spirit came, and I was just like, it was kind of like, well, hey, Toy's down in Texas. What's up, girl? Toy's from Jersey. Then she went to Virginia. And then she's in
Oh,
Georgia.
she's
Now she's in
traveling. She's just
Texas.
out there, huh?
Yep. Cheryl. She's from New York. She's in Georgia now. Somebody calling you, cuz. Now I ain't.
Yeah, right. Always. My phone don't never stop, girl.
And Lisa from Philly. Lisa was on with us last week as well. She's from Philly now. She's in Georgia. He said, "Hey, sugar."
Everybody moved to Georgia. That's the go-to state, I heard.
Well, it is because there's a lot of opportunity. Up in Philly, there's a lot of roadblocks up there. And to me, what I experienced when I was there is that prejudice is real. They
Oh,
not
yeah,
going
I
to
know that's right.
establishing your own business, all that. Everybody out here establishes their stuff. So a month ago, I was just like, man, this that kind of season. It's like a trigger. As soon as I felt that chill, and I looked at the trees in the fall, and it's so beautiful at the same time. It's kind of like the old familiar spirit came back and was like, well, this is when we go ahead and get sad. So let's go ahead and prepare because this. And I was like, I promise you, I had to say, no, we don't do that no more.
Yeah.
That's over. And I mean, I spent my entire life like not liking the fall. And what someone told me is probably a lot had to do with vitamin D. That might
Yes, that's real. That is real. That vitamin D, that lack of sunlight, that will trip your mind. It's actually scientifically proven that that's the cause of depression, and statistically, more people commit suicide during this season than any month of the year. So definitely, if you are needing help,
because they don't want to deal with November, December. Hey, Donna, she's down in Florida. Okay, Donna, she started following me when I had radio. You want to talk about a trooper, a warrior?
wow,
Her daughter is battling cancer over and over and over again. And one thing happened. Did you get healed from that? Something else keep happening. But Donna keeps pushing. I mean,
hey
she's
Donna,
sure enough, Shiro.
that's
Donna,
what's up.
I love you, girl. I love you, love you. Sending you so much love, babe. And she
Yes.
keeps me updated. She gives me those updates. And even though I'm like constantly busy, I appreciate those updates. I respond back. I can't always give her full conversations all the time. But man, I'm always on my knees for you and your babies.
And that's the good part, though. Having an intercessor in your corner praying for you. That song said, "Somebody pray for me." I'm thank God somebody prays for me because Lord.
Yes. But let me tell you what else about Donna. When I met her, and we never met in person. Beautiful. If y'all could click on that picture, talk about her beauty. She's just beautiful. She didn't have any front teeth.
Okay.
When I met her. So everybody that know me know how much I'm going to bully you to your greatness. I bullied her for years until I was able to just take my time, and I got in her head, and I helped her to develop a blueprint mentally of what that would look like and how her life would change if she had front teeth.
Okay.
And I'm talking about you can't stop that girl from grinning. And somebody went ahead and paid for the teeth. Okay. Yes, because we were having a hard time with her insurance and things like that. And then she went in and something happened with the money, and she went in, and somebody in the office looked down and yes, she went in there. Somebody had an envelope for her and said, "Go take care of that."
Oh, that's what's up.
Yes,
that's what's up. Because the desires of the heart, he will provide.
Absolutely. So let's see.
Paid
I
in
just
full.
saw.
She said paid in full.
Uh-huh. And Cheryl said, I just saw a post about seasonal affective disorder and thinking that we need to love on our people. Yes, Cheryl, I never heard of it called seasonal affective disorder. Can you say more for us?
Yeah, that's the technical term for it, or we like to call it seasonal blues, but the technical current term is exactly that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So we said, you know what? Let's try to catch people ahead of the curve
yeah.
this season and what's going to happen. So, wait, can I tell the story about your Thanksgiving table?
Oh, please, child. Yes.
So we're
Yeah.
so interested when you think about the busybody and all these things, and this season coming up. I believe you was trying to set a mood, trying to make sure that you could create an atmosphere so that you don't fall into this depression. So everything had to be
Had
straight.
it perfect.
So go
Yeah.
ahead, tell us about what you would do with that table.
Child, I have a whole. It started. It actually ain't my fault, bro. I'm not even gonna take responsibility because I was
It ain't
event
my fault.
coordinator.
No accountability. We don't do
No accountability. I was events coordinator, so it would start at my job where we used to always do these seasonal holiday, what you call them, pumpkin contests, right? So
that.
every team is a way to motivate our sales team. We had to do like a pumpkin contest of who direct decorated the best. So in doing that, I started saying, oh, this is, a cool idea. So I started doing it with my Girl Scout troops and stuff like that. And then I was like, well, let me talk about my tablescape, because you can't just decorate a pumpkin and have it out for display and don't have a nice tablescape.
You just can't.
You just can't do that. So, so that's how it all started. And then so mind you that because of my disease, like I was so exhausted. I really didn't want to celebrate the holidays. And it's just not just this time. Like I didn't like Easter. I didn't like Thanksgiving, Halloween, none of it. I just rather be home by myself chilling, because I've done so much before to prepare for the holidays that when the holidays came, I really didn't enjoy it. So I'd rather just be tucked up, have my little meal in bed and call it a day. Where and plus my kids, my mom always do like a big something. So my kids always wanted to go hang out with my mom anyway. So they would just go eat at my mom's house and say, but you got to cook because we want your leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just make the nice tablescape because they gonna come home and eat all my leftovers.
But what was so interesting, I was like, okay, so the table had to be perfect.
Perfect.
Did they pay any attention to the table?
No, they didn't even go in there. They just went to the pots. They just went to the pots. They was like, where the ham? Where this? Where that? And to this
Tearing
day,
up.
they clowning me about my green bean casserole.
Oh, okay.
It's like, you keep making that green bean casserole. Don't nobody like that but you.
I ain't never had a green bean. I ain't never been interested in ordering that off the menu.
My daughter called it the ghetto, or she called it the ghetto macaroni and cheese. I'm like, see, you play too much.
So with this season coming up, like for real though, I want to, if we can, come up with some ideas of what people can do to avoid the blues, because this is cuffing season. I never understood what cuffing season was until like and I've said it all the time. I'm like, why they call it? I used to think it was cupping, but it's
Mhm.
cuffing, like you putting handcuffs on somebody, so that means you locked in with that person. So it's
Yeah.
cuffing season. So
Now
why?
the way the young kids tell it is, it's because, well, my kids used to call it hoodie season, because now you want to be all snugged up with somebody and booed up with somebody. Now mind you, some of these jokers, they be booed up into the holidays, then they break up with you just before Christmas, so they ain't gotta get you no gift.
Say, say.
But that's what cuffing season is. So you have companion during the winter months.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they describe it.
I
And
wonder if that's due to depression, loneliness, all of that.
absolutely, because
Or,
now they can't be
or
out in these streets. They
yeah,
can't be out in the streets because the winter months is here. It's cold. Things go up, and then you don't want to be shopping alone, so you need a buddy. And especially, the girls want somebody to help them pay for all these gifts they trying to buy people that don't like them.
right. That okay, you done moved all the way to Christmas, girl. Why? Why? It's so many people that have come out of that though that realize.
Yeah.
I mean, things are so expensive these days. You just can't do it. You just can't buy for everybody. You know.
I know
Um,
that's right.
but then there's still moms like like you, Deb, that'll say, well, at least everybody can get something. I can get. So you be picking up all these little doodads and who has
All year long. Yes. Yes. Like when my kids were young, I was horrible too. Like I used to have, I didn't do like the number of gifts. I had a budget. Like and I like literally would kill myself to spend stuff, a lot of money on stuff that they never opened. You know,
Hold
this
on,
is
let's ask them. Y'all put it in the chat. What do y'all do during this holiday? At Thanksgiving, you got to have a perfect table. Do you have to have the full meal? You got to have that stuffing. You have to have the macaroni and cheese. Do you have to have a boo?
yes.
Let us know. But go ahead.
That was me. And I was like when my kids was there, I was and you know what it started is that darn catalog that used to come out, that big holiday catalog with all the toys that they send out every year in the mill. And my kids would go through there. I was like, Mommy, I want this, I want that, and all the commercials on TV. Mommy, I want this, I want that. And I'm like, okay, I'm noting it down there. Let's get longer and longer. And so I'm just writing everything down. And because I got to do better than my parents did, I'm going to make sure my kids is happy.
Listen,
Mental.
I I'm gonna tell you what I did. I got this idea from somebody when Anya was younger. The J.C. Penney's catalog. That's
That's
right.
it. The JCPenney catalog. That darn catalog.
I decided that my daughter was going to get three gifts because I said
Mhm.
Christmas have to have some kind of meaning, right? So it's going to get three gifts in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So she knew that she was going to get three gifts. And so this was before the baby girl was born. So Anya was like, okay, cool. So she decided to make a three gift list for me, a three gift list for my mother.
That's my kind of girl.
She made freaking lists for everybody. Oh, three, okay. Anya will always work it out. But I promise you, it meant so much more because then I tired it. To me, I was able to justify why are we doing all of this, right?
Mhm.
And then not going broke with it either. And then when they got older, what I started doing was 12 days of Christmas.
Okay.
So 12 days before, I had all these small little things that I would wrap up in presents or whatever and package them. And then every day they get to open up one gift. So
Yeah.
like when Anya lived away, I would have to give her all of her gifts at one time, and she would go through it day by day, and then she would call us and make sure she opened up. So she was very sentimental, like I am, and so, but on that first day of Christmas, second day, third day, I would have the whole thing written out, saying what that day meant.
Okay.
This is what happened, but then here's the history behind that, and this is why it happened. So I always wanted to use that as a teaching tool.
Mhm.
They don't remember none of it though. They don't remember.
Of course they
They don't
don't.
remember none of the history. And
And
guess what
my
they
kids
told me?
don't remember the things I didn't get. Like, and you can have
Girl,
a whole tree full of stuff, but the one gift I didn't get, that's why that destroyed the whole holiday.
that's the problem. How about last year I told them, I said, listen, I ain't doing the 12 days anymore. Like that's it, right? Because I did it as adults for them instead of having like big gifts at Christmas or
Mhm.
whatever. They were like, well, can you please still get us the chapsticks? Because I would get them all these different varieties of chapsticks as one of those gifts.
Okay.
Let's see, my comfort food during the holiday was homemade banana pudding.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
Lisa.
Oh yeah.
Don't make none of that this year and bring that over here. Please don't. Please do. Please don't. Please do. Please don't.
But is it a recipe that you wish you try to recreate because it was grandma's favorite?
It's true. That's
No.
true. What
Like
toy say? Would love to be booed up, but the way my current relationship status is set up, family will do, right? We house
family will do.
right in my house. I give gifts to immediate family and bless a single mom or host a holiday event in my home. I keep
Oh,
busy.
that's nice.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
like that idea.
That's good.
I like that idea. Yeah, that's cool. We used to do for my Girl Scout troop, we used to do packing holiday gifts and take them to the senior citizens home as
Mhm.
part of our give back. So we would pack like essential things like shampoos and toothbrushes and all that stuff and take them to the senior citizens home. And then my Girl Scout troop would sing to them. We would put on like a holiday skit for them. They loved it because believe it or not, that's the most loneliest time for these senior citizens because everybody's so involved in their lives that they forget to visit their families during this time of during this time of the year.
Would you believe I was a Girl Scout troop leader as well?
Was you?
Yeah, for the younger one.
You weren't crazy like me. I had three troops at one time.
That's insanity, but that's okay.
It definitely is. I had three troops at one time, And I also was the president of the PTO, of the PTOs for the junior high, the senior high, and the elementary school at the same time, as
Y'all,
well as the.
can y'all
Yeah, this is
y'all
crazy.
come up with all kinds of words that's synonym for the word crazy? Can y'all drop that? What
That
you
was me. And but you know what, my friend Michelle, she was like, and she was right there with me. She was like, you know what, we are killing ourselves. We're insane. And she challenged me. She said, if you stop, I'll stop.
nice.
So we took back, and we took back our lives, because we was like, what are we doing this for? We're fighting for all this stuff, but for what? And we're trying to be. And for me, it was because I was trying to compensate for always being in the air with my kids.
Oh,
Always being in the air, being away at work or working so long that
wow.
I compensated by not trying not to miss a moment in their lives as far as education goes. So I showed up at school. I was there, literally, because you ain't gonna say I was one of those absentee Black parents who kids is going wild,
Cheryl has a name for you. She said you special.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
She's
Sure,
special.
yes, I am. I own it.
Oh my goodness.
I am special, girl.
Yeah, let
But
me
I learned though, Cheryl. I learned to just, like, you know what? You can't be everything for everybody, because then you end up getting to this point where you feel like you're not pleasing nobody. And if you ain't good to yourself, then you ain't good to nobody. And I learned that the hard way. And I had to be reminded by my friend Michelle, who was like, we need to stop. We
yeah,
just need to stop,
for real.
because I was just doing way too much, and my plate was way too full that I couldn't eat.
And your
And
kids weren't getting quality out of you because you were exhausted.
exactly. Exactly.
With your computer froze toy, Cheryl says she ain't mad at you.
Yeah.
You ain't mad at her for quitting, or you ain't mad at her for trying to juggle everything. Trying to catch
I
up.
was definitely, when I talk about, I'm a project manager for a reason, because that's a skill set to juggle everything, playing all those Girl Scouts, playing all those fundraisers and all that jazz. And then I had a nerve to be in charge of the 12th grade prom, the prom committee too.
I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about everything that you just said. So when you finish raising the kids and things get quiet, then you think something wrong.
Something was definitely wrong with me, because I didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? I got so engulfed in my kids' life, and helping out everywhere, not just,
But
home, but
you're still in golf. Remember what you told me last week? You'll still take a trip if you find out. If listen,
yes,
ladies,
yes.
they can't turn on their GPS. Tell her why they can't turn their GPS. What's it called? Locator.
The locator. My kids won't put me on their locator, because I'm a little special. And if they don't call me, I'll be like, wait, where you at? so so
So
yeah.
if,
But
if
now,
they
but they learn that I'm crazy. So they be like, hi, they know to call me every day. I'm good as long as you call me every day. I'm gonna be chilled in my spot. But if I have to worry about you, yeah, we got a problem.
be showing up.
We showing up.
I ain't too much more sane than you because I really almost went to go look for my daughter when I didn't hear from her for 4 or 5 hours. She normally stays in the house, and she went out for golf to hang out with some new friends, and it was a couple guys, couple girls
That's it.
of a different hue. And I was like, okay. So I hit her up 5. I heard from her. Okay, cool. I hit her up around 8. Didn't hear from her. Went here, watched a couple shows. 10 o'clock. I still ain't hear from her. I was like, golfing don't take this long. Like, hold
Not
up.
that darn long.
Right. And so, in which I just wanted to make sure she good. And so when she didn't respond, I called one of my young girls and was like, listen, show me how to find this locator on my phone. I got a new phone and I don't know where to find it. She helped me find it, and I was just straight spaz. I was putting on my shoes. I was putting everything on, and I'm getting dressed. And then finally she texts me back, but I swear I'm about to grab everything and just go. And then she texts me back and she says, no, I'm good. I'm on my way home now. I said, okay. So I started, I didn't even tell
So
her.
acting like ain't nothing happened.
Ain't
Yeah,
nothing. Look, the young girl was on the phone with me like, you all right? Oh yeah, I'm a mama.
yeah.
I'm a mama.
I mean, it comes from a reason, but I am getting better. But I'm getting better, and because especially watching my kids raise their kids, and the way they parent, I'm like, oh, I would do, and I hold my tongue, because I keep telling you, this is my season of the bridle tongue. Don't tell them how you parented, because they're different from you. This is a whole
They
different
don't even like the way
generation.
that you parented. They don't
Right,
even let me parent this whole
right.
This
And
is what I would do. They
Yeah.
can't get us the whole album.
But I do hear my daughter, my oldest daughter, she said to my 12-year-old granddaughter, she was like, "You lucky because you lucky. My mom would have did it, and Grandma Geneva would have did. So she's like, you're lucky, because
So Cheryl said she's not mad at you for the whole effort with the kids. As a single mother, I tried to be there everywhere and do everything. So I totally understand.
yeah,
Yep, that's for
yeah,
real.
you get that mom guilt, like you feeling like you're not present in their life, especially when you live in a neighborhood where you see people there for their kids and you want to do more, you want them to excel, you want them to have every single experiences. So I put my kids in everything. Like they were in sports where they most of the time were the only black kids in there because I wanted them to experience life,
Mhm,
and not give them any obstacles.
mhm.
And they're grateful for that now, but they was like, why do we got to be the only blacks in here,
Yeah, yeah, I get it. So we got a little bit of time left where we could talk about what are some resolutions for this season. So you talked about, you having the specialty in dealing with grief,
Mhm.
and I'm wondering, like, for the vitamin D to be absent, what is it that someone is grieving during that time? Grieving energy,
It's
like
the sunlight, yeah. So it's like if you just take a walk daily.
no, I mean, like, but mentally, what does it feel like they're grieving when the sun is not there? Like grieving,
It's
like
just
maybe not.
sadness. It's a whole sadness that is unexplained and is tied to the sun, and because you have the lack of vitamin D, so you can either take supplements or you can. My thing is, I like to tell people make sure you have a routine. Do something that you don't normally do during the sun time because sometimes the seasons it get darker early, so you don't spend as much time out absorbing the sun. Even if you can just sit outside and ground yourself, I'm a big from component of grounding yourself. If you just take a walk, 15 minutes, that'll help clear your mind. Listen to some music, do something you like creative, like drawing or writing or meditating. Those all the things that can keep your mind going during this time of season. And a lot of times we get so engulfed in who's not there that we don't know how to deal with the sadness. So continue to just live your life. And as far as the financial part
People
of
don't know how to live their life. So
right.
that's why we have to give them steps on what it looks like to live your life. I think stemming off of what you just said, the idea that I got is so now that September starts creeping around, starts getting a little cold. What I need to do now is plan out, put some stuff on my calendar. Is there a concert coming in town?
Yeah.
Let me go to the concert. Is there a play? Let's see what's going on for Christmas. Any plays in town that I can go see for Christmas? What kind of events? All right, maybe this is the time I can take up dance lessons.
Right. And it's
Stuff.
even something more simple, like, visit a senior citizen. Like who haven't I seen in a while? Reconnect with elders in your life. This is my season to go visit Aunt Clary, or
Yeah.
or talk to Uncle Johnny, go do something for them. Like if you put your energy into reaching out to someone that is not getting a lot of visitors, because again, we forget about the senior citizens in this time. So
Because they get so quiet.
right, it gets so
So
quiet.
Cheryl said, I missed the vitamin D convo, but yes, I learned all about its importance during this pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did Cheryl play with words so much? How about I love the pandemic? Did you mean pandemic?
Yeah, because
Yes.
but I get it because during the pandemic, the actual 2020, it was a lot of us did that because we weren't going outside at all. You know what? So
What, baby? Vitamin D?
yeah, the vitamin D, we did not do any of that. We weren't outside. And then when we finally was allowed outside, everybody's like, we outside, we outside, we outside. But you still dealing with that mental issues, and this is where people really. The one thing, a good thing about the pandemic is it opened up the conversations for mental health, mental health awareness, and
Mhm.
depression, because now we all was stuck in the house and we always feeling the same thing. But for years, this season has been a dark season for so many people that was just left unsaid.
So for me, it was I worked from home my entire life, so therefore it didn't feel like anything different for me,
Okay.
and I wasn't hanging out and stuff like that because those were the years I was grinding, trying to make sure my daughter had all that she needed and things like that. So I wasn't outside anyway. You know what I mean? But it did mess up my travel because with my little
Okay.
flight benefits, I was grounded, couldn't go anywhere. But the saving grace was I just bought this house.
Okay.
Was able to work on the house and the stores were still open. So Cheryl said, yes, she did mean the pandemic. And Lisa said, I had to come to the acceptance of the family members that wasn't here any longer and learn to honor them on my own way, in my own way.
In your own way. Yeah.
During this time, no sadness, fun memories for the heart. Those same people that are gone, you are now that person for the younger generation. So
Yes.
to pay it forward, to create memories for them. Well, what's crazy is I was talking about that. I think I was talking to Lisa about this. We know that time is coming. We know that we're going to not be able, like Deb, one day you and I are not going to be able to have this conversation because one of
Right.
us ain't going to be here. You know what I
Right.
mean? But yet we just get so frustrated because we want it to not to be. In other words, it's just like saying, you know what, I don't want the moon to come out. I don't want the sun to come out. It's the cycle of life.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. If we know that's the cycle, I wonder why is it selfish of us to just all of a sudden just, lose it? Or because what is it? We know it's going to happen.
It's emotional because we want everybody to be here forever, right? And experiencing loss is always hard. Yeah, I would give anything to have my dads back here, both my bonus dad and my biological dad. I would give anything to have them back here because of their wisdom and stuff. But you honor that memory by honoring their memory, honoring the things they told you, honoring the things that they did. Like I can hear myself saying now, if my car get too junky, I can hear my dad fussing, girl, clean that car. Things like that reminds me of the joy that I had while he was on this earth.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
that's
you got to remember stuff like that during this time of the year.
Lisa said we don't know how to process deep pain.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's deep pain
Oh, you know
but when you start processing and when you take it day by day, because grief can't nobody tell you how long it's supposed to last. Everybody always say
right.
you ain't done with that yet. You ain't over that yet.
That's ignorant.
It's
You know,
so ignorant.
how we used to always say, and it still may occur. Of course, it occurs that Black funerals are very dramatic. How about it? When Lisa said we don't know how to process deep pain, that's why we're dramatic. We're trying to get the energy out of our body. Therefore, we act out in public because we don't know what to do with that because we're not taught to process pain.
Yeah.
We're not raised up, processing pain, dealing with emotions, even admitting that I'm hurt, I'm suffering, I'm this, I'm that. And so, not knowing how to process it, it bottles up and we explode wherever the cameras are on.
Camera is. And not even that, because you could just explode on your own by yourself, throwing a little pity party temper tantrum. But to Lisa's point is you got to acknowledge your feelings during this time when you're feeling sad. Own it, acknowledge it, understand where that pain is coming from, where that grief is coming from, and honor it. Acknowledge it. Another thing you can do is always seek professional help. There's nothing wrong with calling a counselor, calling a pastor, calling someone a confidant that you can talk to work out those emotions. Even if it's you just listen, don't say nothing. I just need to get this off my chest.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you create a ritual for yourself. Do something. Like I said earlier, visit a loved one that you haven't seen in a while, or do a new hobby like pottery or something like that. Create something to counteract that sadness in your life so that you can push past these pains, and then set realistic expectations about how you're going to handle the season. Like, don't say,
okay,
I'm buying everybody this, be realistic with your self-care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we went to, I wanted to tell you this earlier, because I had the issue of the seasons coming in and immediately I dropped down into it and I stopped myself from that. But I'm conscious of making sure I don't teach my daughters that. And I've never verbalized that to them that I go through that. So we went to the pumpkin patch yesterday. So we had a good time doing that. And I went to go get the truck so that they could put that big old pumpkin in the truck. And when I got in the truck, I was like, dang, I need to pull up with some music on. So I put on Christmas music, right? For the Halloween, right? And I got it going or whatever. And Anya getting in and she's singing on. She's like, Mom, why are we that family? Why? Oh my God. Yes, let's sing. And we singing all the Christmas songs, but she was enjoying it. And what I was loving about that is she's bringing happy times to this change of season, you know?
Right, exactly. A new ritual.
So Cheryl said, I would say when I lost my friends in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Tell me what year was Stephanie, babe? I was forced to learn and process how to deal with grief and accept it all. All these people under 43, God got me through and just learning the realness of life. Her
Yeah,
good friend, I think she was like 30. She was 30 something, wasn't she, Cheryl? 32, 33, very young.
19.
She knows
Wow.
it, knows in 2019.
Okay.
So, but she was very young still because we couldn't believe that she had heart failure. I think it was,
Mhm.
and it messed Cheryl up. She just couldn't even like sync with the group for a minute. She couldn't handle it. She was 41. Okay, yeah, that was something, and out of nowhere. Because Cheryl, did you know that she was even sick? It shocked everybody. Like we had a group that socialized together, and no one knew. I don't know if Cheryl even knew that she was going through heart issues.
Yeah. And
But
it's sad when, especially when young people die of something that's
yes.
what they see to have cure for. You know, I experienced that myself when one of my best friends, she died at 29 of breast cancer. And I remember being angry with God, like, how, gosh? And like, she was the youngest person on her at the church on the deacon board, financial board. She had so much going on. I'm like, she's one of your strong soldiers, God.
Right.
You know, why didn't she,
Right. Right.
why did this disease take her? So I remember, and it took me a while not to be, angry with her, with God, because she died at such a young age. Um, but again, going through those deep steps of grieving and honoring her memory,
Yeah.
that's when I really first started celebrating breast cancer, because I wanted to walk for her. I wanted to walk for my grandmom, who actually survived breast cancer, but she had her breast removed. You know?
Okay.
So, and then I had other cousins that passed away of that disease, that runs on my dad's side of the family. So that's always been a monkey on my back. But I learned to process those feelings and those fears of that
Hmm.
disease, that whole C word,
Hmm.
through that moment, though. And you're right, you just gotta accept it is, and it's a deep process to learning that.
Okay, we're at 7:30. I forgot to mention next week we're going to have Shay on here. Shay
Oh,
Primus. She's the upper echelon matchmaker, and she wants to come on and talk about, of course, matchmaking, but also the loneliness during this time and what she's experienced and how it's impacted her business. So we're going to continue this conversation. Just
part
take
two. Yep.
part two, yes, and the things that we can do and what it looks like. Because what I mentioned to her was the psychological effect that just life has on women in a position that we take and how we look at men and the way that we've been skewed even through these systemic racism and
Mhm.
sexism, how it has messed us up, and especially our culture. And because we don't talk about this stuff in our culture, so therefore we don't even know what's messing us up. Listen, ladies, it is not all your fault that the
Mhm.
relationship is doing what it's doing. There's
Yeah,
systems in place that is pushing us against one another and tearing our families apart on purpose. So we're going to talk about some of that next week. We are already out of time.
I know, it's so crazy, and I didn't even share, like, so. If I the last thing I want to say, guys, in if this season you find yourself struggling, do yourself a favor, start journaling.
Mm.
Journal your thoughts so you'll be able to listen to them out loud, and then read them back to yourself and say, now, how does that process them deep inside? Because journaling is very therapeutic.
Deb, I had another girlfriend that agreed. Only one other person agreed with me. We did not like writing that stuff down because when we read it back, it hurt even more.
It
So,
does hurt, but it does when you hear it out loud. What I started doing is I use my computer. I write it in my computer. Words has this thing where you can listen to your thoughts out loud, and you're
mhm,
like, wow. So when you hear it back read to you by the computer, it does something different to you.
that's different. That is very different.
So
Yeah,
I
but
journal using my
writing
word.
it,
Writing it down and you reading it, it'll make you cry. It's supposed to, because you're healing.
it make you angry, and
Yeah.
that so she and I both we don't use the. Listen, Cheryl said yes. I started last week. Good. And listen, ladies, make sure for the next event that's coming at my house, make sure y'all bring me a picture of your blueprint, your vision board. I want
Okay.
to see that. Lisa shared one. Well, she was trying to share one in our group today, you guys. Listen, y'all can go online and join my community. Go to angiekearns.com, ANGIEKEARNS.com, and join my community where it's a safe space for us
It's a
Black
safe
women to
space.
share and heal.
It's a
Where
safe
can they find you,
space.
Deb?
You can find me at Unlimited Opportunities Promotional and Marketing Solutions. You can find me on YouTube. Then, if you have children who are grieving, please check us out at nanresourcectr.org, where you can have one-on-one virtual consultation with us. We'll help your kids process it. So,
Oh, good.
you grief and help parents process grief with their children because
Wanda, where you been this whole time? This is our first time hearing from you. Talking about some, yeah, journal. It's important. Have you been a while
hey,
ago?
Lawanda.
So sure, you didn't want to do it because then you have to acknowledge it. And you said, "Wow,
Yeah, but you know what? You do well. We going all on, but we gonna talk about that next week when Shay get on. We gonna have Shay
yes,
talk to y'all about it too because it's it's meaningful. It hurts, but that's that self confrontation that you learn to deal with, and when you heal yourself, you will feel much better about it. You
as
know.
long as they know what to do once that pain is sitting in your lap, if you
Yeah.
know what to do with it next, so if you just sit there with it, then that's kind of
Right.
beating and you're stuck.
That's feeding in yourself. You just eating garbage over and over again, like a dog return going back to his vomit. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to learn from this.
Matter of fact, look, uh, my new book's coming out November 18th. Rip the bandage off and heal for real. That's
Ooh,
going to show you the next steps.
okay, cousin. I'm waiting.
Long, but you know I got to go to that next meeting. Oh my God.
Okay. Well,
Thanks.
ladies, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Same time next week, we got a special guest. This is topic number 2. We are redefining the holidays. It don't have to be a sad moment. This season don't have to be sad. We can get through this together.
That's right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Bye.
y'all. Have a wonderful night.